Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, everybody.
And tonight we'll be reviewing Hostel 2, that was released in 2007. Yeah, and but also, guys, today we had a special guest visiting us, none other than Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Just kidding, guys.
Well, sort of. We've got a big a life-size cardboard cutout of her. She looks so...
Lifelike.
Lifelike. And the problem is it's in my office here, and I keep turning around thinking someone's standing there. And it's a very, very good, not a bad image. Looks good to me. Anyway. We did, Hostel 1.
Yes, we did.
On the last podcast. We are now doing, obviously,
the second one.
2, and then we'll probably be doing part 3 next time.
The third installment.
Now, just having a quick recap on a few things.
Right.
This one, I'll go straight down to box office and budget, and I'll go back and do the other bit. This didn't fare as well at the box office as good as the first one. Now, the first one, Hostel 1, had a budget of about $5 million and made $82 million at the box office. This one had a budget of $10 million and only made $35 million at the box office. I will talk a bit later on, but I get the impression that they how do you put it? The second movie, even though it's not a bad movie, some people, critics, maybe the paying public, thought it was just capitalising on the first movie. They might have changed the roles from males to females, that sort of stuff, but obviously everybody seemed to like the first version, the first instalment better. So anyway, I'll talk more about that later. Okay.
Well, I do think that the second installment gives you a bit of more of a
I liked it. I liked it. I mean, it had some ideas, a bit more of a backstory on how and why things are being done, not just grab a tourist and kill them.
Yeah,
no.
Like it's not just.
There's a bit more of a story behind it, which actually should have been probably incorporated into the first movie.
Yeah, because while it was mentioned that these people, unknown people, just walk in there, kill them, and then they go back to their regular lives.
But once Sarah tells you a story about it, then you understand what I'm talking about. But there's parts of this movie which probably should have been at least touched on in the first movie.
Yeah.
In the first 40-odd minutes when nothing else was going on apart from sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah, at least an idea of what the elite hunting group is all about.
Yeah, I mean, instead of saying, we'll sneak that into the back end of the story.
Yeah, in this movie, it makes out it's more like a hunting club, you know?
Yeah.
Or like a gun club, if you will.
Well, not a hunting club.
Yeah.
And they hunt people, and then they torture them and kill them.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine, but in the first movie, there's no rhyme nor reason. In this second movie, it gives it more story, how, when, where, why, which would have been better encapsulated in the first movie. Anyway, here we go, guys. Produced by blah, blah. Eli Roth, Chris Briggs, Mike Fleece, and Quentin Tarantino. Directed by Eli Roth and also written by Eli Roth.
Yeah, meaning he took steps to write the script again.
Well, I think Quentin Tarantino is his mentor,
teacher,
inspiration, something or other, encourager, urger. He keeps going, go on, give us another one. Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah. That's what he keeps him going. So mentally,
mentally,
a bit of support there, and which I think everybody needs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we all need a mentor to guide us through the land of filmmaking.
Ah, should you? Oh, Lord.
I swear, you don't know who might be listening.
Hello, kiddies. Yeah, right over. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, so let's move on to casting or whatever.
Well, I didn't worry too much about the cast last time because, bit of cannon fodder and stuff. But
I just focused on the main characters we will focus on throughout the production, mostly. I'll just drag my finger down so far down. Desk clerk.
Yeah, about I can't say out the name. Okay, I'll do all the other ones. Well, they've got some funny European names, and I can't say them all.
Okay.
I'll stick to the usuals. Lauren German plays Beth Salinger. Bayou Phillips plays Whitney Swirling. Now I think these are three girls, are they?
Yeah,
probably?
3 girls. Like last time it was 3 guys. This is 3 girls.
Yeah, Vera Donova as Alexel Razimov. She's the girl who's probably hanging around with them. Heather Matarazzo plays Lorna Weisonfront. What a great name. Roger Bart as Stuart. What a great name. Richard Berge as Todd. And I won't go on because the rest of them I can't pronounce.
Yeah.
There you go then. Well, I'm sorry if I start trying to pronounce these funny names, I'll probably insult everybody, and I'd rather not insult them. Just say.
Oh, but we can mention for the beginning part a reoccurring character that recurs in the beginning of it, named Jade Hernandez, who plays Paxton.
He has a bit part right at the beginning, which joins the Hostel 1 movie to the Hostel 2 movie.
So it's a continuation, which is what I always like about Fumi films.
A link, more so than anything else.
To explain what became of him and what will happen to him eventually. It makes me think of his scene at the beginning. It makes me think of the final girl in the sequel to Friday the 13th, where we found out the girl was still, near Crystal Lake, and then she gets killed, and she turns into a duck.
By the way, if you're wondering, Sarah's almost over the flu. I'm in the middle of it. So I will be coughing a bit, but the show must go on.
Exactly. So let's begin, shall I?
I have an idea. Why don't you begin?
Okay.
Yeah.
Paxton has he's gone to Italy, and he's in the hospital, and he's interrogated by the Italian police, and then they start seriously interrogating him really badly, and then they kind of grab him and start killing him, and then he wakes up in his,
and we find out it's a dream.
Yeah, he wakes up at his girlfriend's grandma's house, and she's a little concerned about his well-being because he's acting really funny since he got back from Europe.
He thinks these people are going to be after him and try to kill him. And he thinks, no, they're not. You're just being paranoid.
Yeah, she says, go to the police. They'll be able to track these guys down and get
Do something. Anyway,
but
he wanders off downstairs in the middle of the night there or something or other because he can't sleep.
Then we hear a weird noise downstairs, and we think the worst, but we see a man outside probably pruning trees.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, the gardener.
And then she comes downstairs and she beholds Paxton
sitting at the kitchen table with no head.
Yeah, somehow he's been decapitated, and I like to think that the gardener outside, he was sort of covering for the main bad guys
maybe
inside.
Maybe he works for them, but maybe they use that cover.
And
I don't know.
They probably used it as a way of shielding his voice from screaming out. Maybe they may have gagged him using that special gag, and then they just chopped his head off, and they sent. Anyway, his head's been taken back to
the head guy
Ukraine and given to Sasha, the owner,
in a nice gift box. It wasn't wrapped up though.
Yeah, so that's the end of Paxton, everyone.
See, he only had a bit roll.
Then we cross over to some Italian students. Students who are studying in Italy. 3 girls. One is Beth, who's a wealthy who just inherited her money from her grandma or grandparents.
Or somebody. She's really filthy rich.
And her best friends are Whitney, a bit of a player with guys.
Good looking babe too.
And there's Lorna, who's the
little mousy type.
What did you call her last time we were talking about her?
Remember.
I think you called her a droop or droopy.
No, not droopy. I didn't call her droopy. She's very quiet. Mousy type. That's all. Yeah. Yes, she's not outward going.
Yeah, she's
almost introverted.
Yeah, that's probably the best word I can describe her. Anyway, they're at a night class in Italy, and they're just they meet this lady who's one of the models. What's her name?
Alexel.
Axel.
Axel. A-X-E-L-L-E. I mean, Axel.
Yeah, and she's really warms up to them, and then they make plans on going to Poland, right, Red?
Somewhat.
Yeah, and make a point of traveling there. And of course, Axel comes along and helps them along the way, and suggests there's a spa near near where she's going, and it will be a great place for them to hang out and catch up socially and stuff like that. And the girls agree, and so they head off down to there, and they get to the hostel, the same one I should mention from the movie, and the same guy who's the what do you call him? The guy who checks them in.
Desk clerk.
Desk clerk, yeah. He then takes their passports and then he puts them into, scans them into the computer.
And then he unfolds them to parts unknown.
Yeah, it starts off like a bidding war, and then many wealthy people, men, women, older gentlemen, younger gentlemen,
ladies, maybe,
all start betting and start making bidding, and eventually, one of the guys named Todd was able to, get two of the girls to be his victims. Be my victim. Sorry, that sounds better if Tony Todd said it. Anyway, so this guy is named Todd, strange enough. It's no coincidence. Anyway, he then gets these two girls and he plans on taking his friend Stuart, to over there in order to kill them and all that stuff.
Yeah, have fun in the sun. The idea was that Todd is all I got to go get a executive tights there, and he says, straight for your character, if you're prepared to kill somebody, you'll be really good in business. Hello? Hello? Did anyone see any problem with this?
I do. Yeah. So anyway, they then arrive soon enough, and they eventually meet the girls at sort of a special party that they're holding down near there, right, Dan?
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
They seem to be always having parties, little festivals and stuff.
Yeah, a festival thing. And we do see the bubble gum gang there. That's what they call the kids.
Yeah, but little kiddies.
Yeah, who...
Hey, kiddies.
They've moved up from asking for lollies and gum to asking for money.
That's better.
Anyway, so the girls eventually start socializing with some of the locals, and let me see what happens. Oh yeah, Stu and Todd, they start mingling with the group, and Stu befriends a little bit with Beth. A little bit, they start talking. I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course.
He couldn't keep away, could he? No. It's like playing for food.
Yeah, I should mention Stu is in a fractured marriage, and he probably might be looking at being divorced. Yeah.
He hates his wife. He feels, well, I don't know, he just doesn't like her, and he feels that this girl reminds him of his wife, so he can take case aggression on her. How's that?
Exactly so.
It works that way for me, yeah.
Meanwhile, her friend, what's her name, Lorna? She gets attracted to a guy, and they start dancing, and she gets a bit drunk, I think.
Yeah, she doesn't drink much normally.
Yeah, she's as Mike said, mousy type, and she wants to. He suggests that they go on a boating thingy-wing, But her friend Beth tells her, "No, you better not go. This is it's still a foreign country. You never know. These guys may rob you blind,
Or do something.
or do something drastic,
horrible, rude."
Yeah.
And anyway, she says, "Oh, yeah," and then she ends off going off in a rowboat with this guy.
Yeah, and
Never to be seen again. Well, by them anyway.
yeah. Anyway, the rest of the girls, they continue hanging out with Alexa,
Axel.
sorry, and
Axel.
And while they're hanging out together in the spa, I think it was, Beth is have nodding off, and
Nod.
and then Whitney disappears along with a lot of other people that were in at the spa, but somehow everyone seems to have gone home or something.
Yes. Interesting.
Oh yeah.
Like it was totally staged for her, you know.
Yeah, suddenly the men in black, I'm going to call them this men in black in this one.
That's a good move, isn't it?
Because they're always wearing black clothes and it's pretty much obvious. Anyway, she escapes them and eventually she heads into the woods. She gets tripped on a tripwire set by the Bubblegum Gang, and they kind of were about to hit her with sticks and stuff, but eventually Sasha, the owner of the elite club, eventually arrives along with her new lady friend, and he then punishes one of the children by shooting them.
Yeah, he wanted to make an example.
Yeah.
Well, feral kids, they're a dime a dozen, you know.
Yeah, it's not fair, really. Anyway, so they head back to Sasha's place, and there, Beth makes a discovery that they work with the men in black, and she tries to hide in the closet. There, we find a secret room where we see lots of decapitated heads, and one of them is Paxton's head.
Well, I wonder where it was going to get mount on a plaque on the wall in the den or something.
The men in black appear behind her and they drag her away. Then we cross over to the elite hunting club area, which has modernized a little bit because they've gotten some video cameras. I guess now that
a bit more CCTV stuff to keep an eye on things.
Yeah, now that they learned from their lesson from last time, they probably think they should up the security, not just bring in a lot of more men in black.
Muscle, you get a couple of guys sit there and watch this CCTV and say, we have a problem in Sector 3. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it makes it easier.
Yeah, Todd and Stu arrive and start prepping up for their encounters with the two lovely ladies. Oh, I should mention Laura, the other girl that disappeared. She was actually took part in when she was kidnapped. She took part in a client's bit of a
fantasy sort of thing.
Where her client drenches herself in her blood.
We find that Lorna hung upside down by her feet, with her arms behind her back, that sort of stuff, and naked above something which looks like a bathtub or a recessed thingy in the ground, like a spa or something. And a lady comes in there, and she has something like a scythe in her hand and starts ripping at her skin while she's in the depression in the ground below her, and she starts bathing in the blood like Elizabeth Buthrey.
Maybe that was her fantasy.
Possibly, bathing in blood, and in the end she rips the guts out and all the blood comes out. It's really, and then slits her throat. She's having a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So, back to the present.
At least one of them was.
So, Stu and Todd, they got their gear together, they got their tools, their weapons, and they then get into their assigned costumes.
Yeah.
And the girls are assigned costumes too. Beth is dressed in a business suit, I think.
Beth's in a business suit, and her friend's in a bit of a cheerleader-y thing.
No, that was someone else in the other movie.
Oh, that's another movie. What was she dressed in?
I don't recall.
Little white thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Nothing major, but she was ready for action.
Yeah. She nearly tried to escape, Whitney, but she got dragged back by the dog. Well, not dragged back by the dogs. They brought in some Rottweiler type dogs.
Nice puppy.
Yeah. Anyway, so they're more prepared this time. Anyway, back to the story. Each man goes into their rooms of preparing to kill or hurt the girls that that they've been assigned to. Of course, Todd, he doesn't have the heart to kill. Even after his I so want to do this.
He went so far, and then he sort of reneged on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pussy.
When he actually took a chainsaw and he sliced it into her head. She didn't die or anything. Just a little bit of a graze, horrible one.
A big graze. Lots of blood and everything. But
for some reason, he kind of chickened out.
He couldn't follow through on it.
Yeah, and the guard there tells him, you haven't finished the job yet. You have to completely kill her, not just graze her.
But there's a penalty for not doing your job too. He didn't know about.
Yeah. So the dogs, the Rottweilers, they track him down into the elevator and kill him.
Yeah. So Todd forfeited his own life for not killing the girl.
And you think
he should have checked the fine print.
You think that it would have been Stuart that would have been the one chickening out, but as it turns out, when he approaches the girl, Beth, who is going to be the likely victim, he nearly chickens out, but then he changes his mind and restraps Beth back into a chair. And before he gets down to the nitty-gritty, he gets approached by the people in charge, telling him that his friend's chickened out, and now we have a vacant victim. Meaning,
you want to spare?
Yeah, they asked two other clients beforehand. One was actually eating his client,
from the
victim, and the other one was being electric shocked.
Yeah, and they're just too busy.
Yeah, they didn't want to. They probably didn't want to buy, an extra victim.
They're having enough fun,
Anyway, so
fun.
So Stu goes into the room. We don't see what becomes of Whitney, but we can imagine the worst, right?
Yeah, the worst.
Anyway, he returns.
They would have just topped up, yeah.
She returns later, and he plans on starting to kill Beth, and he keeps taunting her with comments about him, his wife being a total bitch and all that stuff, nasty comments like that. But then she tries to turn the tables on him by saying that she's not his wife, and she understands him. And he attempts to unstrap her and tries to make out with her, I guess. But then she turns the tables on him by attacking him and strapping him into the chair herself.
Yeah.
And she goes to the cameras and tries to knock out the cameras.
She breaks out one of the cameras so they can't see what she's doing.
She quickly tries to get the code. There's a bit of a code number on the door in order to get out.
Yeah, a pin pad job.
Yeah. Eventually, he doesn't. At first, she thinks he gives him the wrong number, but it then finally does click in. But soon enough, those people arrive, and she says, "I want out. I want to get out of here." And they said that you don't have the money, and you don't have, and there's no chance. Did. But she says that she could buy everyone in this room.
In the whole place here. She must have lots of money.
Yeah. Anyway, he says Sasha tells her it's not the money we want. We want you to kill someone. So she takes some shears and cuts Stu's, genitals off.
His little man was no more, and she throws it to the dogs.
Yeah, and
wait a minute, and then she puts her hand down where his thing was and ripped open the skin a bit more there, so he'd just bleed out.
Yeah, and she comments to the Sasha and the group, let him bleed out and die.
Let's let him bleed out and die. Didn't give a crap. And then she signed a contract or an agreement and got a little tattoo.
Yeah, throughout this movie, the Elite Hunting Club, they ask you for all new members to have a tattoo on their skin.
Of a little hunting dog, like a bloodhound, is it?
Bloodhound.
Yeah.
Then we cross over to another festival going down, and Axel is talking to a bunch of new tourists, and somehow one of the bubblegum members steals her purse. So she chases them, and then she soon gets tripped by the tripwire, and then we see Beth appear with a very huge medieval hunting axe.
One of the axes the knights used to use.
Yeah, and she swings it down, chopping her head off, and then the kids, the bubblegum gang, start kicking her head around like a soccer ball.
Yeah.
Then we cut to black.
What a fun movie! I mean, it's a little bit different to the first movie, but it's faithful to the theme.
I agree.
Again, what I said earlier, the bits about people bidding for the victims, to me that should have been
Extended.
touched on a bit. No, it should have been touched on a bit in the first movie to make a bit more sense of it. However, the first movie made more money.
I guess they tried to keep it secret.
They liked the blood and guts and gore in the first movie.
I guess it would have been. I mean, they wanted to keep it a secret from the audience, making them think that this is. They might.
But you still need a story behind it.
Yeah, there is a story behind it.
If you go in a hole somewhere and you get killed, well, why did you get killed? Was it the pedophile? Was it the rapist? Was it just a homicidal maniac? You need some sort of story behind it, you know?
Yeah. I gotta admit, I did like the different attempts on how each person gets killed by different clients. I mean, it's interesting, like the whole bloodbath thing. Well,
she was allowed to do her own thing,
Yeah, see, it depends on the client and what they request.
Yeah. And the other guy wanted to... In the first movie, one of the guys wanted to be a surgeon, but he didn't have steady hands, so he liked to cut people open and do things to their bodies and stuff. And that was his fantasy, so he just paid for money and ripped bodies open without anaesthetic and stuff, which is very nice, and that sort of stuff. And these people here, one guy was doing electric shock therapy to some person who didn't really need it.
And another one who's the bit of a Mr. Lecter type thing.
Like Hannibal Lecter type, they're going to eat this guy. With a bit of some fava beans and nice Chianti.
That must have been a bit of a Silence of the Lamb fantasy, whatever.
Quite possibly.
Anyway.
Well, why not? I wonder what human beings taste like.
Good point.
I was wondering, because we're a white meat, would we taste like pork or chicken or something or other? It could be quite delectable.
Anyway, so I never thought that Stuart would turn out to be the more powerful...
I think he snapped.
Yeah, I think he did, too.
Just the pressure from his mate and the situation, he went crazy, and his bad feelings about his wife, somebody just snapped and saw his head, and he just... snap and changed. Boof, there you go.
Yeah.
Ew.
And his friend Todd, who didn't have the guts.
Yeah.
He kept on making...
We saw his guts.
Yeah, we did.
We did. The dogs ate them all up.
But you got to admit, he kept on making out, I can't wait to do this. It's like if you're going on a roller coaster and then you chicken out at the when you start getting into the seat.
But they don't cut you up the roller coaster, do they?
Yeah.
They cut your head off or anything.
I mean, you sit in line, you wait, you're excited, and then when it's your turn, you feel like, I don't think I had a change of heart. That's like my nephew sometimes, who just has a change of heart when he's faced with some very thing different sometimes. But when you start doing it, you feel comfortable with it. Wouldn't you say, Mike?
Yeah. I can't talk too much at the moment.
Yes.
Sorry about that, folks.
So let's discuss the movie in depth, or whatever.
Well, it was on the same area, Prague and whatever. And it's
Prague,
actually,
sorry.
Yeah, well, at the crikey, how do you pronounce that? Barrandov Studios. They a lot of the corridors and stuff actually made up of sets. Instead of going back to an old building and running around, that's why it looked a bit different and cleaner.
I see what you mean.
Because the first movie, I think, was done more on site at this old abandoned hospital. But this was done a bit more, I believe, more inside a studio to make it easier to do film around and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, well, no, whatever. And they had to make up some sets as well, the bath scene and other things. And
I can understand that.
Yeah, so you couldn't do it also. Yeah, and I obviously did a film for footage around Prague itself. Yeah. A harvest festival, that's what I'm doing, at Český Krumlov, located in the southern Bohemian region. So
at least that's what's still.
Yeah, the brick and mortar extensions of the factory were constructed by a production designer. Okay. Yeah. And based on real abandoned factories that toured abroad. So yeah, they had a great sense of realism. I think they really did good work. Again, I mean, the first movie was lacking in some ways, and this one was lacking in other ways. But together, I think they make two good movies. Yeah, if you look them together. Because one they do tie into each other quite nicely. and it develops a bit like Star Wars trilogies and stuff. There are 4, 5, and 6. They just joined in quite nicely. And told a good story. Next level, please.
Yeah, and no subtle change because, actually, when we were watching ours, we watched the different ending to the first one.
Yeah.
But this one follows through with the other ending where Paxton killed the Dutchman. I mean, Dutch businessman.
Yeah. Left me at all. So.
We do even we also get a flashback to that very date.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, at the beginning,
Yeah.
And that's where it links to the first movie. Oh, excuse me, I just tried to breathe. Yeah. I can't breathe. Oh, annoying. Don't kill me.
Oh, very funny.
Whatever. Okay. Let's have a look. What other? We've got lots of paperwork here. Russell there.
Yeah.
Censorship. That's all right. I didn't have a quick read of this before.
This will be interesting.
It's been restricted to adults in most countries for obvious reasons.
Figures.
However, it's been cut in Germany, and the German however, it has been cut in Germany, and the German extended version, in which the woman's torture, death are seen, is still not shown completely. So they've recut it a bit for German. I mean, fair enough. So it depends on countries. Some people said years ago that the censorship laws in Europe were a lot easier than the Western world, Australia, England, America, and whatever. So you can get away with anything in Europe, but maybe things have changed a bit, or maybe the Western movies are getting worse than the European movies were, so we've gone past them. I don't know. So but there are some graphic bits, especially when the guy got his manhood deprived of him.
I should mention, guys, there's a lot more nudity in this movie too.
Well, that's not bad.
There's also a bit of male nudity. You don't see too much male nudity these days.
Well, you don't see lots, but it's a little bit here and there. But the point is, when you saw the guy's willy being cut off, you really thought his willy was being cut off, guys. It made me cringe in my seat and hold my family jewels and say, I hope they're still there. And
at least he's not going to hang like a bear.
Well, I'm not hung like a bear. Okay, right, yeah. Dale and Tucker versus Evil. Yes. Actually, it's cold here at the moment, so I'm having hard time trying to find it at the moment. Anyway, it's been on the chilly side. Look, I can't say too much about this. I've said about box office and crap and everything else.
What about the reception? That's usually interesting.
I'm not going to go into too much because it's all over the shop. Some people thought the first movie was better. Some people think this one was crappy because it's just milking in the idea from the first movie. However, the paying public still went to see it.
No doubt.
And it still made a profit.
Yeah, it did make a profit. I mean, it's weird. It's weird that when you look at the reception with reviewers, they say one thing, but but the paying public say another.
I think it could have made more at the box office. Okay? Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is that sometimes the reception people say it's a really, really good movie, but you look at the returns, it didn't make squat at the box office. The people didn't like it, but the reception from the critics' reviews were good. So in this case, they didn't actually like it, but it still made money for the guys that made it. And that's, to me, at the end of the day, if you have a really, really, really good movie and make a shitload of money, gee, you're doing great. But not every movie can do that.
No, that's true.
If you're lucky to break even or make a profit on it, you're doing well. If it goes backwards, well, maybe if you keep doing that, you're in the wrong business. But however, many times I've spoken to Sarah and other people trying to explain my feelings on the industry. It can't be all about the money. Yes, money is important. You have to focus on the art, what you are trying to create for the public. You bring your vision to life.
Yeah, despite the gore and the blood and the horror, these come out as more artistic films.
But art house, but to a certain degree. But what I'm saying is that if you focus on the art and make it really, really, really good, with your mind on the budget, not saying, oh, I've got so much money to spend on this, how can I spend it? No. You look at the art and say, I want to create that piece of artwork and I've got this much money to play with. How can I best use money? And sometimes if you don't get that mindset happening right, you can actually have an inferior product. And that's where I think some of the bigger projects fall over. They've got a big lot of money to spend. Oh, I've got a lot of money. How can we spend it? No, it's not about that. It's say, how about I've got a good movie to make. Yeah, I can use that money this way, that way, and the other way, and blah, 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 blah. Oh, I've got some left over. That's a change. So to me, it should be about the art, not about the budget, but be mindful of the budget. And that's where the problem is with some of these movies. And I think they don't get it right sometimes. And that's why the budget sometimes is good, but it actually, the takings go down because I think they're more focused on the dollar than the project. Oh, what can we serve up to the people in the seats here to go, let's make money at the box office? No. How can we make a good product so that people will come to the theatre to see the product?
Exactly.
So, they're putting the cart before the horse sort of thing,
So,
I think that's where it lacks sometimes in some movies, and this could have been one of those cases. They spent a bit more money on it and they made less. Why? Maybe they thought, we'll write off the credibility of the first movie, and we've got this much money, let's spend it. with less thought on the product.
So can we look at the reception? I mean, could we look at least one or two of the reviewers on what they thought of it? I would like to see
because I'm not. I was trying to get over it because I'm not speaking very well at the moment. Okay. Rotten Tomatoes reports an approval rating of 44% based on 113 reviews. The site's critics consensus reads, offering up more of the familiar sadism and gore. Hostel Part 2 will surely thrill horror fans. That's it. Doesn't say it doesn't say it's not saying it's really, really great. It just says saying the same shit. Okay.
Hey,
no, that's what it's saying. That's what it says. On Metacritic, the film had a weighted average score of 46 out of 100, based on 21 critics, saying mixed on average reviews. It doesn't say why or what they said. CinemaScope gave an average C out of an A plus to an F scale. It doesn't say why. So I mean, I can't tell you too much.
Okay. Sure.
Now, several critics compared the film's production value and plot positively to its predecessor. Strange that. In the Hollywood Reporter, Michael Reitschaffen said the film was a step up in virtually every aspect. I thought some parts were better. From production values, it's quite better, I think. To its better focused storytelling, because it had the bit about the bidding and stuff. It had more storyline in it, and more fully developed characters. We knew more about the characters. One was rich, one was mousy, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Okay, similarly, Total Films described the film as superior beast compared to the first film. Made less money, didn't it, guys? With a stupefying technical advancements. Okay. A satisfying plot. Yeah, that plot wasn't bad. And the main characters who are fun to hook up with. Okay. Now, you want some negative ones? Some film critics believe the film commented on wider geopolitical themes. And then it gets deep here. That's why I didn't want to read these.
Okay.
Anthony Quinn, writing for The Independent, speculated that the film may offer a subversive commentary on American values. Owen Gleeman of Entertainment Weekly believed the businessman ethos and auction-style bidding process in the film is similar to the real-life practices of the sex trafficking industry. You see, it's just getting dirtier and darker and horrible, and criticism of the film focused on how similar it was to its predecessor. It didn't change much, but it is a sequel,
Oh, well,
as well as its lack of depth. I think it had no more or no less depth than the first movie.
I think the depth was well developed. Considering the fact that
it had a bit more character development, good storyline, but it's still a shallow movie.
And it also give us a name and a face to these unknown people on the dark net who bidded on these unnamed victims.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, they say the criticisms usually say it's very similar to the first movie, or it's dropping off. It's taking stuff from the first movie, riding on its coattails, and that's also. I'm not going to read them all now.
I just mean that in the first one we assumed it was just they were just plucking off different people on the hotels or hostels, and just using them for their own, fun, weird games that their clients want. We just assumed that they were just picking anyone who just fit the criteria.
Okay, do you want me to give you a nasty one?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, and it'll be the last critique I do, and I don't like this one. I don't normally mention people's names here, but I have been tonight. Mark Kermode, I think it is, of The Observer wrote, Eli Roth should be slapped and sent to bed with no supper until he promises to stop squandering the promise of cabin fever on infantile tripe like this. Sadly, his ongoing association with Quentin Tarantino, who once again presents this drivel, merely brings out his worst arrested adolescent fanboy tendencies.
Oh, brother.
Oh, come on, get a grip.
Go on, leave us alone.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh,
Here's
man.
one. In Leonard Maltin's annual publication rating movies, the film is given a bomb rating, commenting, dreary to say the least. Okay. Guys, they made money.
Yes.
It served to the fans who wanted to see it. You don't like it, that's your problem.
And not to mention the fans enjoyed it, and the numbers numbers don't lie.
If they made a profit, that's all you can hope for. Yeah, they made a profit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into there. I can't talk too much tonight.
No.
Anyway.
So let's rate it now.
I'm still going to give it down around 8 because there were a few things in this one which could have been done better. I just find sometimes these sorts of movies, they concentrate more on the blood and guts and gore and the storyline. This is probably... Wait, no, look, I'm not being unfair. I'm being a bit unfair. I gave 8 to the one Hostel one because I thought that was a bit underdeveloped. This one's better. I'll give it 8.5. Okay.
I'm going to give this one 9.5 out of 10
but
myself.
This is better. I think it's better production value, but it's still lacking a bit in here and there. Still a good thing if you like blood and guts and gore and everything else. Yeah, it's a good watch.
Yeah.
I do like a little bit more substance in my movies. It's no good seeing blood and guts and gore if no rhyme and reason. This does have a bit more of a story behind the rhyme and reason. But still, it's still a bit shallow on some parts of it.
Yeah, I'm going to give it...
It's probably hard to get the target. Yeah.
I'm going to give it 9.5 out of 10 because I think I thought the story was well developed, and it did give us a little bit an explanation of the elite hunting club a little bit more.
And how it operates, yeah.
And how it operates, like how do they get the word out to their clients?
The online bidding and stuff to pick the people and stuff. Yeah.
How the hostel itself is involved by they scanned in their passports, given all the information to these unknown people.
Yeah. So there you go. Anyway, here we go. eBay, plenty for sale. Amazon, plenty for sale. I'm not sure about rent. I didn't see any listing there for renting. It might be there. Maybe my eyes aren't all that cracked up to be, but I didn't see prime rent anywhere. Now, having said that, I did notice when I was looking at cost-wise, there's packs of the 3 movies, which work out in many cases to be a lot cheaper than buying 3 individuals. So if you're interested in actually buying the movies, I would actually go buy a 3-pack. You'll save money, okay? So look, it's a good watch. I mean, I'm not into I like horror, and I don't mind a bit of blood. Okay, however, sometimes it's the type of movie and the story writing, screenplay writing, that I concentrate on more and to see how they actually develop it. And these two movies, well, these three movies, we're just going to do the other one tomorrow, they're not my style of movie, but I can still see what Eli Roth is up to with his storytelling, and I think he's done a good job, irrespective of what the critics say. Quentin Tarantino, I think he's backing the right horse. Okay,
Yeah.
I like Quentin. I've seen some of his earlier movies. Not a problem. I like Quentin. He's a very smart man in his own way, and he's a credit to the industry.
Yeah.
And so is Eli.
I like it that it does explain how the dark web might come about these days. Like, it may turn out that...
there is a dark web out there.
It just explains how it works, like what people sell, who they sell it to.
I understand the idea about the dark web. I mean, I've read about different things, but it runs side by side with the actual web, but you need a code or something, an access word, password, something to get into it. Once in it, you can do anything. You can do sex trading and guns and drugs and shit and crap and all the illegal crap. And I don't know why governments of the world don't try to close it down.
Beats me.
Because, I mean, it's there. And they worry about, Twitter or something or other. Get on the freaking dark web. Do something about that. Spend your money on the dark web, If they can hack computers around the world, I'm sure they can hack in the dark web somehow rather than close it down. At least the bad, really, really, really bad parts of it.
Yeah, at least some of the webs, the bad sites.
I'm not saying this sort of thing happens on it, but I mean, anything's possible on dark web.
Yeah, well, anyway, so that's our thoughts on the movie.
Yeah, I can't breathe much more.
And as we said before, you could probably get it on Amazon, you get it on eBay.
So if you get on there, you can get it anywhere probably, and your own chosen sites. You might be able to stream it from somewhere or whatever,
or even go on to Shudder if you have the stream site, whatever.
Yeah, I don't go on Shudder and stuff, so I don't know. I'm not hooked up to them. So
I'm not even hooked on to Netflix either because. Ever since what they've been doing with Disney, I think it's a waste of money to even so much as become a member of those things.
Look, from what I've seen, I don't like it. You don't get a TV guide thing with it. Guide what's on. You take a punt, you click on. That movie might be on tomorrow. You can't see it. I'm going to be out. So, and I don't watch sport, so there's no good me getting Foxtel and stuff. And other things there, and some places have got a lot of movies I don't want to watch. I do watch a lot of movies, but there's some things. Well, I've got that.
Yeah.
I've got that. Saw it last week. Yeah. Got that. Yeah.
And just
why hook into it?
And just a lot of the time, most of these sites who have all these movies lined up, they would often delete them in order to replace them with something new. Yeah. And they're not necessarily a good new.
No, not necessarily good, But then their idea of classic cinema and some of these streaming sites sometimes ain't that classic. It's an old movie, some people watched it, so we'll bung it in there. It doesn't make it a classic movie. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Anyway, that's about it for us tonight, I guess.
Yeah, I'm a bit sour tonight. I don't feel very well.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this review on the Hostel 2, and let us know in the comments what you guys think of this movie itself.
Wait a minute. Before we go, didn't you say you got a comment from somebody the other day about Star Wars?
Yeah, something about it's been done 24 years ago. Why review it now?
Yeah, that's really strange because what we do, and what a lot of reviewers do, we'll review movies, not necessarily all new movies. We do movies from now, way back, even to the Salt era if we want to, because there's some, I did make a comment, I think, on the first Star Wars movie we did, that I had a friend who didn't watch franchise movies.
Yeah.
He didn't, apart from Rocky, he didn't watch any franchise movies. He only did standalone movies.
Yeah.
And I introduced him to franchise movies. And he said, these aren't as bad as I thought. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons why we're reviewing movies like Star Wars and Alien and other. Yes, people have seen them, but some people haven't seen them. Wait a minute. You think about, when did Star Wars first come out?
Back in the 1977.
If you got someone who's 20 years old or a teenager, listen to these podcasts, they might not have actually seen these. So that's why we're doing older movies as well.
I was tempted to tell this person on Facebook or on social media that YouTube movie reviews weren't around back in the
that's not the point. No, that's not the point.
Olden days.
What I'm saying is that we're choosing to do movies from different decades as well, because if you got a really, really old person like me and we're reviewing a really, really new movie, you'd say, hey, old guys like me like it, so why don't you get off your bum and have a look at it yourself if you haven't seen it?
So, guys, bear in mind, we do have our own set of opinions on movies. And it's always good to sometimes, if not all the time,
about the vintage of the movies.
understand how another person likes, why they like that movie.
The person was commenting on the vintage. But if we've got people ranging from, say, 15 to 95, we're telling a 95-year-old about a new movie he might be interested in, or talking to somebody who's listening in who might be 18 years old who's never seen a movie was made, say, 30 years ago, which might be a really good movie. Why not tell them about it? Yeah. And that's what the podcasts are about.
So
I'm not knocking the person who made a comment to Sarah, but that is the purpose of our podcast, to entertain and to bring to light movies that some people may or may not have seen. Not necessarily totally...
always the new ones.
Always new, and not always totally weirdo ones.
Yeah,
but
I get a lot of requests, different requests. Some say, I like to see more new movies, you review, and others would say, I want to see you guys review an old movie.
Yeah, older movies. And we're trying to satisfy everybody.
Yeah, that's the requests I get every single time on social media or anywhere else.
And here's something, honestly. If we did only new releases, only going to do movies that come out in 2022, well, they're not all good movies.
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about?
What if we don't really like them, and then we would act trollish?
I mean, we reviewed this movie. It's a bag of crap. Don't watch it. Yeah. Well, that wouldn't be serving you any good. So
we have reviewed a few movies that went under the radar.
Yeah, and that's another point. Things that we have seen, which we don't believe everyone else has. So hey, we've got this movie. It's really good. It didn't go through the mainstream cinemas very long. It went straight to DVD, and it would have been missed out by a lot of people.
Yeah.
So we tell you about it.
So I'm digressing again. So so that's it for us tonight, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode. So this is Sarah Stephenson.
And Michael,
saying we'll see you guys for our next podcast. Bye for now.
Bye, guys. See you later.